I feel like I'm watching a series on Netflix about the AI revolution, and it started with a fellow by the name of Sam Altman back in November of 2022, introducing us to something called ChatGPT and a large language platform that was going to revolutionize the internet and basically our whole economy and how we functioned as a civilization. Immediately, the star of the show stepped up in the form of a guy in a leather jacket, Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, and he stole the show as he brought his GPUs into play to replace CPUs, and the co-star became Charles from Supermacro as he put those GPUs into a box. And then we had a whole series about a year ago of companies like Vertiv and Supermacro and Modine as air conditioning became a player. And then as data centers that were in the business of mining became data centers for processing of data. And then Dell stepped up as it said it could adapt its computers to the new AI program. And Micron came in and said that they would be one of the major players on creating memory to go along with Jensen's GPUs. And then Taiwan Semiconductors came in and said, we'll be the ones who will make all these GPUs that Jensen needs. And Meta came in and said, we have a open source opportunity. And we saw over the last year, these stocks achieve outstanding results. So the question now becomes is, where is this story going next? What is the next chapter that we need to be aware of so that we can profit off of it? Are these going to continue to be strong? Yeah, they probably will, because the story is just really getting started, because this has to penetrate beyond the behemoths, the Apples, the Googles, the Microsofts, because they came in, and this is kind of fun, and it's a prelude to our story, is that back in somewhere, I guess, in the early 90s, they introduced us to something called a cloud. And they said, hey, we'll take you won't need your hard drive, and you won't need to back up your hard drive anymore. For $1.99 a month, we'll take all that off your hands. And Google said, we'll store all of your emails and your searches and everything, and we'll do all that for you. So you don't need to back up your computer. So what did they do? They took all this data and they put it in the cloud. Well, I look up and I think, where is this cloud? This cloud is called a data center, and there are many of them around the country, the world. And a data center may be sitting on 3 acres of land and have 1 million servers in it. Those are the servers made by Dell and Supermacro. Well, now they're having to be updated and put in with the GPUs that Jensen makes. So that's the evolution. So the question then becomes, who's going to make all this possible? Well, if we look at those that are growing over the last month, we see things like SoundHound. What is that? Well, that's basically taking this AI platform, this large language platform, and putting a voice to it. And it's showing up in cars and restaurants and things of that nature. And Tesla is starting to get back into the play as we think interest rates are going to come down. And they're a major player in the data revolution. And so you see all these companies. Modine continues to air condition. Rambus is a semiconductor company that's, as interest rates are coming down and the people are buying Dell's laptops and desktops, these other semiconductors will come out of the slump that they are in. So we've seen some tremendous growth, or good growth, in the past month. SoundHound up 40%, Tesla up 39%. Ultra Systems, that's UCTT, or Ultra Clean, they're up 12%. Well, you multiply that 12 times 12, and you come up with 144. So now the question becomes, what is the future? What's out there in the future that's going to change all of this and make it different? Well, the cloud is going to come out of the cloud, okay? we've been bamboozled a bit by Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta, in that they took all of our data and are now monetizing it and selling it. Well, I'm going to get some of those boxes sitting here, and I'm going to put my data on it, so now I can sell my data to advertisers. Let's assume that I build my channel where I have 1 million people who come and see what I'm doing and how I'm analyzing stocks. Well, if I control that data, I now can sell that data to the advertisers who want to reach my audience. Whereas if I keep it in Amazon or Microsoft's data center, they're going to benefit from it as well. Oh, I can still sell advertising, but they're going to leech off of it. So what's going to happen, in my estimation, is this episode on Netflix about the AI revolution. The stars are going to change. Oh, Jensen will still be there, and Charles will be there, and Mark and the boys will be there. But you and I are going to become the stars. Small businessmen are going to take that data that they've been giving away and then paying for someone to analyze it and feed it back to them. They're going to bring it into their own home. And it's going to be made possible by you and I creating our own data centers. We aren't going to have the heat problem because we aren't going to have 1 million of those servers in our basement or in our garage or in our attic. We aren't going to overload. We're going to take care of our own data. It's kind of like when Henry Ford realized, hey, all these rich people are having individual cars made for themselves. Why don't I create an assembly line and make this thing called an automobile available to everybody and create a business around it? And General Motors raised their hands and said, that's a good idea. And then Chrysler did this. That's a wonderful. And that's where we're at. We're going to democratize this data and put it in the hands of the entrepreneurs who say, you big guys can't have it all. It's not fair. If you want access to my data, you're going to have to pay for it. And it's going to be sitting on my servers, not your servers. That's the change. That's where you need to be looking and saying, who are going to be the big players in that? Well, I saw just yesterday, on July the 17th, I saw President Trump, or past President Trump, make a statement that Taiwan should be paying us for military protection to protect themselves from an invasion from China. And as a result of that, Taiwan Semiconductor dropped about 7%. ASML, who makes the big box that they sell to Taiwan Semiconductor and Samsung and Intel and several other foundries, it dropped 11%. Well, none of this can happen without Taiwan Semiconductor and ASML. So those are buying opportunities. So, and it's important, you wouldn't have recognized it as such if you weren't following the story. If you hadn't tuned in to Best of Us Investors Network and followed the story and understood that yesterday and right now this mood about ASML, which I believe I'm going to get a 101, a double off of if I buy it at today's price and I sell it at the price it's going to be January the 1st on 2027. That's why I'm buying it. That's why I'm buying Taiwan Semiconductor. That's why I'm buying Marvel. That's why I'm buying Vertiv. That's why I'm buying Ultra Clean and Amazon just in the last 2 days, because the world isn't paying attention to this story. It's playing out, and everybody is playing it based on today. But the end of the story is not about the cloud. It's about your data center that you're going to have in your house, and you're going to monetize your data. Now, if you're just you work for Ford and you go out over to work and come home, that's probably not the case. But if you're a small businessman, you've got a new income stream coming. If you can control the data that you gather. When someone comes into your restaurant and sits down, you're going to ask them if they would like to join your loyalty club or whatever you want to call it. And you're going to take their information, their name, their address, their email address, and you're going to plug it into your AI factory, and you're going to market to them. And you're going to control that market that you speak to. And that will become, and that machine will do all of your client interface. It will take care of your supply chain. It will pay your employees, and it'll sit there next to you and do it. That's where this is going. But you've got to tune in to the series. And you can tune into it at Best of Us Investors. The series goes for about $60 per month. But right now, we have an introductory offer of 14-day free trial. Come and see my cheat sheet. Here's what it looks like. It tells you these are the companies, these are their earnings projections for the next 2.5 years, and that I'm going to make 101%. I'm going to double my money. I put $93,000 yesterday into ASML. That's going to turn into about $200,000, I believe, in the next, 30 months? Why? Because they're the only ones who make the box that makes the machine that makes the semiconductors that is going to run the world. It's that simple. And it's on sale today. Okay. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial planner. I like to say I connect the dots. And the dots are getting damn big. The opportunities of what's going to happen. And if you can read the series, watch what's happening, understand what's going to happen next, and then seize on the opportunities that just present themselves. It's just a one chapter in the book. It's a very small part. What happened yesterday and what's happening right now to ASML, Taiwan Semiconductor, Marvel, Vertiv, Ultra Clean, and Amazon. It just happened, but it's your opportunity. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. I'd like to help you make more money.